There we are. We are live after a Christmas break. No show last week. Of course, Preston just got off the air, and now we're in here live and entered in the show this afternoon saying, when is Brian Kelly going to get some coordinators? And 7 o'clock, we get the release from LSU that Matt House, Kansas City Chiefs linebacker, is now official. Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, gives his seal of approval. We've got that to discuss tonight. Of course, both LSU men's and women's basketball teams going into conference play. One with one loss, the other undefeated still in Will Wade's men's team. Both of them with big road tests coming up. And got a bowl game to talk about. What kind of team is LSU going to field? But I want to welcome in Buddy Songy on our Pride Roofing TigerBait live show. And Merry Christmas. Hope you had a Merry Christmas and a big New Year coming up.
Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Of course, it is a little out of character with our Tuesday night show. The reasoning being that LSU plays tomorrow night at 6. We could have gone afterwards, shortly after 8, but we decided to do this perfect timing. And by the way, kudos to Mike. He has been telling you that LSU wanted to hire a defensive coordinator that could bring the house, and it is going to be interesting. Of course, Matt House is the big story. John Madden also unexpectedly dying earlier this morning at age 85. I had Dale Brown on the show today. He's 86, has the same birthday as Nick Saban, of course, October 31, Halloween, and he'll be 87 next year. So we might bring that to you sometime next week, that interview on TigerBait. And as you alluded to, look, you've been doing all the heavy lifting and all of the leg work. And kudos to Mike, because I think one of the posts was, let me give you the skinny on House. And you, of course, fell into this because you were talking to people about Brad White, who turned LSU and Brian Kelly down. And this guy comes highly acclaimed. And I will go through some of the resume and some of the perks, but I think this is an excellent hire. And now we wait to see who the OC is, wait to see how they finish recruiting, wait to see what they look like in the bowl game, and wait to see how good LSU, Will Wade, and of course, Coach Mulkey, what they're going to do starting SEC play this week. So even though we've had a lot of shopping and a lot of food and a lot of Christmas, we're always busy and glad to be back, Mike.
Yeah, I was talking to Jacques Doucet earlier today, and I'm like, man, it's I think I might have decompressed too much. Like, I'm like, man, it's like I feel like I got to get I'm missing something. I'm trying to get back into the groove, and all of a sudden that release at 7 o'clock just all of a sudden just caffeinated me naturally. So and so it was a good topic at the right timing for us tonight. And, of course, we want to thank Pride Roofing for sponsoring us each and every week. And please do me a favor, if you're watching the show, please share it to social media. If you're on Facebook, please share us on your Facebook timeline, the groups. And, of course, I always ask you guys to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell on YouTube. We do broadcast, stream both to YouTube and our TigerBait.com Facebook page. But yeah, I think you get a better experience on our YouTube channel. I think it comes in much better, and I think the interaction is better on YouTube. But either way, we've got you covered. But either way, hit the like button, subscribe, share, and all that. It's very much appreciative. And our YouTube channel has grown exponentially in the last year. And, of course, I give big thanks to all of you out there for spreading the word and being a part of our show and each and every week. And, of course, we do it each and every week because of Pride Roofing. We're going to talk more about Mike Faraday and Alex Martinez a little bit later in the show, and they're going to have some big news coming in the next couple of weeks that we'll reveal after the new year. And I know they're very excited over there at Pride Roofing. And, of course, Miss Tony Freeman with Assurance Financial, we'll talk about her as well. So, Matt House, you know, I was on a show tonight with my buddy Bart Smokey in Alexandria.
Yeah.
And I said, you know, everybody's picking the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So that would be mid-February that he could get here. I said, is there some way that they can let it be known that he's the guy? Because one by one, as everybody quits playing football, you're going to be like, well, just by process of elimination, you're going to figure out it's him, you know. Well, that's out the window. The release comes out, and you don't have to worry about that anymore. So now the LSU coaching staff, Brian Kelly, can go out and sell this guy even though he's not on the ground running yet.
Yeah, just some of the comments. He, of course, is currently the linebackers coach for the Kansas City Chiefs. By the way, Clyde Edwards-Helaire had an incredible touchdown run, such a low center of gravity, so strong on the lower part of the body, and bangs off and scores a touchdown, and then has a collarbone problem shortly after the start of the second half. He is now week to week, so the worst fears were that serious collarbone. But everybody knows that the Chiefs have a lot of LSU, besides the Honey Badger, Darrell Williams, and of course, all the great Tigers that play and enjoy.
I wonder what they're saying to him.
Oh, look, they're filling him up. They're all so pumped right now. By the way, Coach Kelly said, quite frankly, he checks every box that you're looking for with a DC.
I could tell you, you mentioned the report that I put out a couple of Mondays ago, and it was really, when I talked to a source in Lexington, when they were saying that they were all hoping that LSU would get Brad White because they wanted to get Matt House back.
No
they
doubt.
said their best year of defense was 2018 with him as their defensive coordinator. So that told me a whole hell of a lot, and so now here we are, 8 days later after I put out that report, and he's the guy.
Well, here's the interesting thing, and look, I'm not going to say I told you so on Bo Pelini, because I didn't know what Bo Pelini would do like. But one of the things that I mentioned early on when he was named, he hasn't defended the spread. And one of the things that Coach Kelly says, he possesses a great understanding of how to defend the type of offenses that we're going to face every week in this conference. And being at Kentucky and being the DC, he's the third year in the linebackers. Of course, he had 3 seasons at Kentucky, 2 as a defensive coordinator, 16, 17, and 18. Also defensive coordinator at Pittsburgh and Florida International. And they are fired up. Like I said, CEH, Darrell Williams, the Honey Badger. Man, can you imagine the stories that they're telling him about the first time he's going to get chill bumps with a sold-out crowd in Tiger Stadium and all the aura and the history. And so just like my favorite team to watch right now in the NFL is Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, my second favorite team is Kansas City. And, oh, by the way, Mike, they play this weekend.
There you go. Bart Smokey, who I just mentioned, he says, does House make the defensive line higher? Because that's one of the things that I've been told is like Andre Carter and a few others that are hanging around. I'm told they've had no discussions, no talks, and I'm like, well, that's the downside of it. I said, and look, they're getting paid. They're getting paid very well. And so, yeah, they're being disadvantaged, but also LSU's using those contracts that they're going to have to pay and buy out to their advantage. And so, who knows what House comes in and does? Does he like Andre Carter? Does he interview him? Who knows how that plays out?
And look, one other little stat. In 18, Kentucky's defense ranked 6th in the country in points allowed and held opponents to 14 points or less 6 times. Now, Mike, we know now that the standard of having a good defensive game with this day and age of offense in 21, 22 moving forward is about 18 or 20 points. And trust me when I tell you, Bama's going to score a lot. Can you believe it, folks? We got the semifinals, 2:30 Bama and Cincinnati and Dallas.
See, now you just cued me. What do you think? What do you think Aranda does? I'm switching gears. Baylor's defense does with Lane Kiffin's offense, because Aranda's defense has held some high-powered offenses.
Absolutely. Great matchup. Let's just hope the rest of the bowls that are scheduled.
The day that the matchups were released, that was the game that I said, that's the game. So,
well, I was just going to say, 2 SEC teams, it could be an SEC final. And once again, the question is Georgia going to choke again, or are they going to use a walk-on? Look, you got to give the kid credit. And Todd Monken, who, by the way, there have been some overtures about him possibly talking to LSU about the OC, says we're going to stay with him over the 5-star JT Daniels. But once again, I like the fact that he's got the stats. But, Mike, it sounds like everybody that's come out, whether it's current Kentucky players or players on the Kansas City Chiefs, this guy is going to work you hard. And what will Wade say? He's going to love you hard. And, if you do that, they trust you and they communicate. And as we know, trust and communication really a key. So this to me is a great hire for LSU football moving forward.
I tell you what I want to do. I want to talk about our good friend Tony Freeman with Assurance Financial. If you're thinking of buying a home or refinancing your current mortgage but haven't found a lender you can trust, let me tell you about Tony Freeman with Assurance Financial right here in Baton Rouge. She's a dear friend of mine and someone who many of my friends have used for their mortgage needs repeatedly. Her knowledge and over 25 years of experience in the mortgage industry is unsurpassed, and she offers a wide range of knowledge of home loan products. Whether you're a first-time home buyer ready to buy a new home or you just want to explore your refinance options, Tony can guide you through your next mortgage experience. You can feel confident you're making the best financial decision with Tony as your guide. And not only is Tony a huge LSU fan, but Assurance Financial is a proud partner of LSU Athletics. Call Tony today, 225-239-7150. Again, that's 225-239-7150. And please do me a favor and tell her that you heard about her on TigerBait.com. NMLS number 104765, Equal Housing Opportunity 70876. And talked to Tony last week, and again, I talk about her each and every week. She's one of my favorite people in the world, and we've had multiple fans of the show who have reached out to her and have been absolutely tickled with the service that they've gotten dealing with her.
Well, and look, we tie in both sponsors because Tony takes great pride in the job that she does. And as you were talking about pride and all the exciting things on the horizon, I got to tell you, folks, behind every great man or even a good man is a better woman or a great woman. And Tammy and Yessie are the wives of Mike Faraday and Alex Martinez, and we could not do it without them over at Pride Roofing. And then you throw in Tony, who, she dresses and shops and does all that other stuff, but big-time LSU fan, consummate professional. Always you love hearing this, whether it's a coach or business, attention to detail. And then you kick it over the top with that smile and that feeling like, I felt like visiting with her. I've known her all my life. She gives you that kind of comfort zone, and that's because she's a professional, and she loves doing business. She loves what she does.
She goes above and beyond, I'm telling you. Huey Lipsy with the super chat. Big thanks, Huey. He says, I'm excited to have a qualified defensive coordinator. Love the fact that he runs a 3-4 defense. Hope he draws in the likes of Harold Perkins. Go Tigers.
And look, you know me. I love playing off the words. And so let's bring the house, baby. You've got to tackle in space. You got to have your edge rushers. Savion Jones, Mason, all those guys, Jaquelin Roy. Get these guys ready to go. I'm going to promise you this. Well, I won't promise it because we don't have anything to do with it. I'm going to predict this. You're going to have a more fundamentally sound, more disciplined, and a better in shape team. You're not going to see all those love handles and around those bellies. I just think that it is a culture change. I know you hate that word, but it's been a toxic culture. And I think that, as we said, these 4 or 5 months are going to be growing pains. But, man, this fires me up for spring ball.
Yeah, there's going to be.
And you mentioned recruiting this is definitely going to be something you sell recruiting. Jacoby Matthews, Harold Perkins, and others, come on down.
I think it's going to be a deal where you get 2 good pieces of bad news and you get a piece of 2 pieces of good news and then a piece of bad news. 2 pieces of bad news, a piece of good news. It's going to be. You're going to feel like it's a perpetual 2 steps forward, 1 step back, over and over again, and I think it's because he's got a lot to clean up.
Yeah.
And we're gonna, and that's not going to be unique to LSU. Every program is going to be dealing with the same things that we're lamenting here: transfer portal, NIL, college football's ruined, whatever it is. This is going on in every major college football market. LSU's not immune from it or facing the worst bout of it than anybody else. But what I think is I think you have to have faith that Brian Kelly is going to stay the course and he's going to install his system and he's not going to have any knee-jerk reactions or think something just hairs on fire. He's going to methodically put in his system and he's going to get the right people in place. And if they're not the right people, he's going to get rid of them.
One of the different changes that we have seen with Coach Kelly is not a lot of media access. It's not that he's been cutting out everybody from media sessions that were scheduled, but it's just that he's not throwing out stuff there to keep people happy. They are going to have a media session with Brad Davis and I guess some of the coordinators and other guys that are there on Saturday. Got to ask you, because I don't know one person from Baton Rouge that has told me we're going to the Texas Bowl. Number one, I don't
know anybody.
I don't either. I still think there's about a 50-50 chance that it doesn't get played because of the ramp up of COVID or whatever. But that all being said, you got that. It's almost a shame. I want to see a sellout crowd a week from tonight. And the Dale Brown ceremony is at 5:30. You're looking at.
I'm looking forward to the basketball game.
Yeah.
More than the football game.
There's no doubt about it.
I'm fearful that the football game is going to be a disaster, embarrassing. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think it's going to be a disaster, embarrassing, but we have no idea who's going to take the snaps at quarterback. We don't know Major Bones is back. Mason Smith, all these guys that were in and out the lineup. That all being said, I do think we're seeing a trend here where there are too many bowls. And, Fournette and Christian McCaffrey started this a while back. If you're anybody that has a chance to get highly drafted, you're going to opt out of the bowl game. And so kudos to Damone Clark and all those other guys that are doing that. We wish them well. But that all being said, I'm more excited about the basketball game, and I will say
what if LSU beats Auburn and then that Kentucky game's next week?
Then you're talking about sellout. There's no doubt.
I mean, I remember. I mean, I'm sort of old enough to remember the Kyle Macy games.
Yeah.
And fans and students camped out overnight, and when you walked up the ramp that night,
Yeah.
there was newspapers everywhere. It looked like a war zone out there because the students and everybody had camped out. We might see a little something like that next week.
I made this prediction a couple of weeks ago, and I think it's going to come to fruition. In 2020, I think you will see Will Wade with multiple sellouts. I think you will see Kim Mulkey with a sellout, and I think you'll see Jay Clark in gymnastics.
I mean, she was
with a sellout.
She was talking about it yesterday.
She was fired up.
Had almost 7,000 people there with the Saints on, and she's playing Sanford. No students on campus because in between semesters, and she was excited.
And people get cross-haired with Christmas. I don't know with this guy if somebody put some X-Lax in his chocolate for Christmas, but anybody that actually has the audacity to criticize or critique Kim Mulkey and the way she dresses,
oh yeah,
holy cow! You talk about it all the time.
We had somebody on our message board. On our one of the Facebook groups. I had shared the link to her post-game press conference, and she had her Tiger shirt.
Yeah.
With the, and it has like some sequins on it or whatever. And I'd sent it to a couple of my BFFs, and like 2 of the 3 said, "I want one like that."
Yeah.
And then I read his comment. He said, "Looked like something from Napoleon Dynamite, the little everybody knows the movie, where he drew a liger." And no, the girls love the way she dresses. I think the butterfly jacket a few weeks ago was a little questionable, but even that, I don't know.
And Mike's got one of those. He does have a butterfly jacket. Some guy said, get one for Buddy, too.
I think that's part of the draw for her. You like to see her, on the sideline. And we all saw the clips when she was at Baylor, throwing her jacket off and it going 4 rows up in the crowd. And, I mean, look, I don't have to tell y'all. I mean, we load up all the press conferences to our YouTube channel. And I'm telling you, she outdraws Will Wade most because they'll have press conferences either the same day or the next within a day apart, and she usually outdraws him. He had one a few weeks ago that had incredible views because he went berserk in the post game. But most of the time she's outdrawn him because people just hang on every word that she says. Yeah. She's that charismatic.
Well, let's get to some comments.
Bayou Bengal says, Mike, do you see LSU having a chance with Harold Perkins and Jacoby Matthews now? I absolutely do. I don't see LSU losing Jacoby Matthews and Harold Perkins. Not signing in December and waiting till the first Wednesday in February was big. We'll see. Obviously A&M's got a lot of momentum. They've got a top flight class, closed strong. Jimbo Fisher, without a doubt, has had a big time recruiting class. But there's Louisiana ties with Harold Perkins, so we'll see. Citizen at Lake Charles Prep, running back. His number one school before, LSU hired Kelly and Frank Wilson talked with him was Auburn. Now, that's easy. You're from Lake Charles, and you can go to LSU with a brand new coach and a lot of excitement, or you can go to Auburn, who just lost to Houston today.
The fifth straight loss, something like that at the end. You were talking about Jimbo. Of course, they were the first team to opt out. They had about 7 or 8 players, all really good players, say, we're not playing in the bowl game. And then, of course, they got some COVID numbers, and so they opted out. There's now been 5 bowl games opted out. UCLA, shame on them. They opted out at the last minute today, like a couple hours before the game. And so it's a crazy scenario, so don't put much stock in the Texas Bowl. But LSU has a lot of fans in Houston, and so you know that. But quite frankly, I am fired up. And back to the question about recruiting, I think LSU is going to finish strong in recruiting. I really do. I have good vibes.
And it's not so much, look, obviously the 3 we just named are big timers. They're all highly rated. But I'm including transfer portal. Mm-hmm. When I judge this year, it's not just going to be high school kids. It's going to be the portal. So, Sal Runfellow, she's a great dresser. I agree. I particularly like the buckskin bill jacket she wore very early in the season.
I hadn't heard Sal's name in ages. Good to see you, Sal.
Dane Bergeron says that both you and me do need butterfly jackets. Let's see here. Swerve, I'm with Mike. Bowl game looks like a disaster waiting to happen. And I hope they prove me wrong. And I tell you, what would prove us wrong, and it's going to be the easiest route, is the defense is going to do all the work. I mean, you're going to have the defense carry the day. Maybe you get a special teams touchdown, or I just have a hard time believing with the quarterback situation the offense is going to make it go.
Well, let me say this, and I said it yesterday and today. And I still think this is something that gives the LSU fans hope. Those guys didn't quit this year. Everybody knew that they had lost all these players, and whether it was a legitimate opt-out or whatever, and you did not see LSU quit. Oh, by the way, we keep mentioning Texas A&M. Folks, they lost their best coach in Mike Elko, who got the head coaching opportunity at Duke. They're going to have to replace him.
Josh Henson's gone.
And exactly. And so Jimbo is got some work to do, even though you have all those players. Max Johnson, somebody asked me again over the weekend, why did he transfer? And then Chris Gordy from Locked on the SEC podcast said something about he didn't have a great meeting with Brian Kelly. That all being said, Miles Brennan is coming back. He's not in shape right now. He's going to have to transform his body again and get healthy again. But things are looking up as you move forward. And if he can find the piece at offensive coordinator that fits with House, and then finish up in the state and everybody else with the high schoolers in February, and then the transfer portal, I think that as we saw, now I'm not saying I have any idea how they're going to play next year. I'm just going to tell you the first 5 games on the 2022 schedule are very winnable. And you do that, that's the kind of momentum that makes everybody in the pain that we've all seen people experience in the last 2 years. That goes away pretty quick, Mike.
I agree. Rick Kelly, hey, Mike, why does Bama never have anyone out with COVID? I don't know. Maybe it's the same reason why they never have never had anybody out when they test positive for wacky tobacco.
Well, look, this happened over the Christmas holidays, and I never see these people. And lo and behold, a 10-year-old kid in school at Alabama, Mike, and we had some puzzles and stuff. We was doing math, and we started talking recruiting, and the kid said 25 plus 10 equal 35. That's what Alabama signs every year. Look, one thing about it, Nick Saban was with COVID, and with very few players with COVID. Who knows? Bottom line is that 2 SEC teams possibly could play for it all, but Alabama writes their own rules in college football.
Faye, Hughes, Schubert love Kim Mulkey's attitude and style. Absolutely do too. And by the way, those of you who are subscribed to TigerBait saw it today, and those of you, we want you to come subscribe. But
she can hoop.
We've got a video footage. Michaela Williams, the number one player in the country for next year. Number one in the country is at Parkway in Bossier City. She's a junior 6-foot guard, and she's rated as the number one player overall in the nation for the class of 23. She was one of 3 girls that competed in Hungary for the USA three-ball deal this past summer. She won a gold medal, and she was the only junior, and she was the highest point scorer. And we shot her at West Monroe's tournament yesterday against Ponchatoula, and we shot her again this afternoon and got another interview with her today and her coach. That'll be arriving on TigerBait.com tomorrow. And I feel darn good about LSU's chances with her, I'll say that. And she's absolutely the kind of girl that LSU and Kim Mulkey can win a national championship with. And I dare say, if you watch her footage, I believe she's better than Simone Augustus at this age. And I've talked to several others that have followed girls basketball for years and years, and they say similar, but they're kind of afraid. They want to whisper it. I think she's better. This girl is special. And go to TigerBait.com. It's on the front page. Michaela Williams at Parkway in Bossier. I'm told when they play games and wherever they go in the city, I guess they're about to get into district play coming up. She's like LeBron James. Like, they pack the house in all the gyms. So if you're an LSU fan in the Shreveport-Bossier area, I think you might want to try and find out when Parkway plays some girls' basketball games and go check her out, because this girl is absolutely special. So we've got that footage on the front page of TigerBait right now, and we have more coming. The package is already loaded up for today, and I've got more interviews with her and photos. So this is absolutely the type. She's would be the Simone Augustus, and maybe a year or two from now, there's a Sylvia Fowles type of player that comes right with her. So,
well, I will tell you this, watching closely some of the film on the Lady Tigers and watching them live on the tube. I hadn't made any of the games, but they are so well coached. I think Will Wade should put the tape in to see their ball movement, to see their spacing, to see their shot selection in the first half. Oh, by the way, here's the key right now. I'm telling you, 2 things. You got to start fast tomorrow night. You got to stay out of foul trouble. Efton Reed and Darius Days, you can't afford to get them with 2 fouls and be on the bench. Eric Gaines, you got to play a little more team ball. I think a little bit too much dribbling with him. But it seems like Tari Eason is going to be good to go. He sat out last week against Lipscomb. But once again, Coach Wade is going to, I think if they start shaky like they have some of these games, you're going to see a quick timeout even before the 15-minute TV time. But it should be a great win. And, oh, by the way, Jabari Smith's son, Jabari Smith, I guess he's the second or junior or whatever, is on their team, and he is a hell of a player.
I didn't get to go to the press conference today, and but I can't believe nobody in the media, and I think it's an age thing.
They didn't know. They didn't know Jabari Smith.
They don't know that his dad played for LSU, so nobody asked. I mean, Jacques was there, and he knows.
Yeah.
But I can't believe nobody in the media asked him, like, well, what happened with you? Because I don't even know that he visited LSU.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't think they got a visit out of him.
Yeah.
And I would have, Coach, did you not, how come you couldn't get him? Or what, did you recruit him? But, obviously Will Wade talked about his family. So, he tried, obviously. But, that was an opportunity to ask the ins and outs as to what happened there.
Yeah.
Danny England Sr., any super recruits we're targeting, and that would be Danny Lewis, tight end from Westgate, currently committed to Cincinnati, MVP of the Class 4A championship game, and I expect him to be coming in for a visit in the coming weeks once the dead period's over and they start hosting visitors. I think he's absolutely one you offer.
I definitely think he looks like a tight end that Brian Kelly is going to utilize. And listen, I know that there is a difference in the bodies. It's so funny when you go to all these games. I'll never forget when we go into Jerry's Palace early on and to see the short, squatty, drinking, partying coon-ass and South Louisiana person versus the tall lumberjacks of the Oregon. Really, literally, the bodies and shapes were so different. And you think of Notre Dame, Mike, and you think of those big, gargantuan, big uglies and those big tight ends. It's going to be interesting to see how Coach Kelly starts to use the Midwest contacts and recruiting ins and outs that he has to bring in the big uglies and then mesh that with the SEC, Houston, Baton Rouge, Florida type of athlete that is so common down here. It's going to be fun to see what this football team looks like in a couple of years.
No doubt. Let's hear from our main sponsor and, of course, the official roofing company of TigerBait.com, Pride Roofing.
Hi, I'm Michael with Pride Roofing.
I'm Alex.
Were you affected by Hurricane Ida?
Insurance claim, no problem.
Are you concerned about the shortage of building materials?
We have what you need.
We're licensed residential and commercial contractors.
In Louisiana and Mississippi.
We install shingles, metal, and commercial roofing. From Baton Rouge to Slidell or Houma up to the North Shore.
We got you covered. Call Pride, 855-PRIDE-16.
Pride Roofing, the official roofer of TigerBait.com.
There you go. Of course, Mike and Alex, I say it each and every week. I grew up with Mike in the Faraday family. Of course, he's a Broadmoor High School grad, LSU grad, and just super duper people. It's going to have some big news that I can't wait to report to you guys in a couple of weeks once everything's final on that. But they had an excellent 2021. They're going to have an even bigger 2022, and he invites everybody, if you're on Florida Boulevard in Albany, to swing by their offices there, take a look around, and meet the staff and see what all they've got going there. And they're absolutely huge in all parts of Louisiana, certainly big on the North Shore, the Florida parishes, Tangi, the Hammond area, getting bigger and bigger in Baton Rouge, expanding Lafayette, and much more. And so give Pride Roofing a call. And by the way, that deal is going to keep going. If you call them for your roof inspection, whether it's your business's roof, your residential, your home roof, and you say that you heard about them on TigerBait, they're going to pay for you to have TigerBait Premium for a year. So you cannot beat that deal. Give them a call, 855-PRIDE-16, and they've got you covered at Pride Roofing.
Two great contractors, repairs and maintenance, obviously, quick turnaround, all of the latest as far as the technology and the materials. Have the 18-wheelers with the tarps, with the plywood, with the shingles. And listen, PFM and others that have used Pride Roofing, they get there very early in the morning, and they are done by the end of the day. It's all cleaned up. You are amazed. You can go work a half a day or whatever. You come back, you say, wow, what a job. And the beautiful thing about it is they take great pride in what they deliver to you. And as I said earlier, with trust and communication, you're going to trust them, and they're going to communicate to you where they are. It's just a great situation, and I know they're very thankful for all the help that you've given them.
No doubt. Aaron with a super chat. Wade and the LSU Tigers are going to clap Auburn's cheeks.
You know, I think that if you start well and you play smart, and this is one of the things that I wish, and I could be totally wrong, but I don't want to see Efton Reed or Darius Daves or somebody commit a silly foul. I really think it's time, since we're tweaking everything with the NCAA and sports, let's give the colleges a 6 foul, Mike. The pros play 48 minutes, they get 6 fouls. The colleges play 40 minutes, you get 5. But we're not going to watch the game tomorrow or go to the gym to see the referees. We're there to see the players. And I just hope that they don't commit the silly fouls. I hope that they protect the rock. The big shot, the big outside shot. Who is going to be the guy to hit the great shot? But Will Wade has said it now. This is going to be as good an atmosphere as you have, but, man, I'm excited. I want to believe that if they take care of the rock and play smart and don't get in foul trouble, they can win this game. Auburn has not lost a game at home this year, and if you beat Auburn tomorrow night, man, can you imagine how cool would that be on the night that you're retiring or actually naming the court after Dale Brown? I did ask him today if he'd ever met Pete Maravich. He had a great story about it. And lo and behold, Pete Maravich Assembly Center with the court after Dale Brown, 5:30. But can you imagine if you get a sold-out crowd and once again it returns as the Death Dome? I mean,
Oh,
Mike, you and I used to talk about the Tigers
I think it's gonna be
coming
crazy.
from the roof.
I think it's gonna be crazy versus Kentucky whether they beat Auburn or not.
I do
but,
too.
But that if they do, I mean, first of all, the national, what a national game it's gonna end up being. But no, listening to Will Wade's press conference today, he was. Did you watch any of it? I mean,
I did see some of it.
He was in a different on edge. I think
Yeah.
Maybe not on edge. He was. I don't know. He's feeling it, and he gave you some blunt talk about them, their personnel, what they need to do, what they can't do. What did he say? If we don't do this or that, we might as well get on the bus at halftime. It was. You can check that out on the front page of TigerBait. The video's there.
Great coaches use the media to talk to their players, and he will have to say a lot less tomorrow night before that game. So it's exciting. And then, of course, the women play Georgia on Thursday night.
They both have brutal starts to the SEC season.
They do. But
Mulkey's got Georgia, A&M, and South Carolina,
Yeah.
3 ranked teams. But like Coach Wade said, you can sit there and scrutinize the SEC schedule, but that's another deal where it's like, okay, well, one year you're front loaded, the next year you're back loaded. Either way, you're going to have to hit them all. There's no way you can line them up in any methodology or whatever you would come up with that you think would be great for you because they're all murderers. So
Hannah Gusters, the 6'5", big lady, a post player for LSU, is back. She had served a 4-game suspension. She was a little rusty, but you got to love Coach Mulkey. You heard what she said? She said, well, I had to kind of have a reality talk with him. I mean, look, we're in South Louisiana. They ate the turkey, and they ate the dressing, and they ate the ham. I mean, you got 2 great straight shooters, and I think this is going to catapult the Tiger fan into hopefully an unbelievable 2022 athletic year.
cmancuc, Mike, at the very least, don't you think that the Rules Committee needs to set time limits for entry to the transfer portal? It's ridiculous during the season. If Mark Emmert is going to be toothless or just so inept that he's appeared to be for so many years now, it's amazing to me he was, one of the best, was he president or chancellor?
Both.
At LSU, and everybody was sick to lose him to where he's. So if he's not going to do it, then it needs to be Sankey. You're going to need some power coaches, whether it's Saban or a Brian Kelly, Ryan Day. You're going to need some coaches to step up and say, this has got to be. And I do think it will be. I think in the spring, early summer, I don't know the dates of conventions and meetings and subcommittees and all that stuff, but you got to believe that they're gonna set all kind of rules in place, so it's not a free for all. I was listening to Lane Kiffin on Rich Eisen last week, and he was talking about how we've got kids in the transfer portal who are in the transfer portal, but they're practicing with us. Mm-hmm. What is that?
Well, he also did not like the idea that basically teams and boosters.
And I like that he's out front of it. I mean, whoever it is, I don't care. But they all need to start squawking.
Well, but he's talking about that a lot of the players are going to go where the most money is, and I think this has probably been a rude awakening. Yes, LSU was on the cutting edge with the billboards and NILSU, but they were a little lax, and A&M came in and had a hell of a recruiting year, and Texas did. I do think, though, we saw very quickly in the last month or two, and, we're not going to get on a bitch session about tampering with Keyshawn Butte from Alabama and Eli Ricks and all the other stuff that's been going down the last couple of months with conjecture and reality. But bottom line is I think LSU got woke up with a couple uppercuts and a left hook, realizing you better get your boosters lined up. And Gordon McKernan and the other boosters that care about LSU in this town, I told people months ago about the ones in Texas.
And think about him, Gordon McKernan.
Get it done.
A lot of people make fun of him, or that he's the butt of jokes, and there's stuff on Facebook, and everybody's got the deal about the lawyers, right? Look what he's done. He set the example right off the bat.
Sure.
So you got to give him some props.
No doubt.
And often we talk good about lawyers here. except for Kenny.
Oh, he's the best. We couldn't do it without you, Tiger Shark. By the way, inexplicably, at that last time we were ending it, and I was telling Mike indirectly that I was going to take off the week of Christmas, but we do want to wish everybody a happy New Year and hope that you and your family had a great Christmas, a blessed Christmas, and obviously we're here, and Mike's a pro, and I come over here and shoot a fat with him every now and then, and I just have this good karma with the house named and all. I just feel like some things will fall into place. You know, with recruiting, man, everybody was lamenting the fact that Jimbo in Texas and all those teams, Alabama, and obviously the typical top 3 or 4, LSU wasn't there this year. And it's hard to realize what was going on in a transition. It's hard to realize and beat your chest and talk to LSU fans across the country and say, oh, yeah, well, we're 18 or 19 or whatever. I think that all of that is going to get cleared up in a matter of 6 or 7 months.
Brian Badir, hey, Mike, I sure hope the Howard kid is better than Book.
Well, Brian Madare, we say happy holidays to you. You know, he was buying it hook, line, and sinker with TK's prediction of Lane Kiffin being as the next LSU coach. Oh, by the way, the Black Dog, we hadn't heard from you since did Kiffin get a gig anywhere else?
What was that?
Lane Kiffin.
What do you mean anywhere else?
Did he get another job? He wanted the LSU job, the Oregon job. Did he leave Ole Miss?
No.
I wonder why.
Hal Jubin, LSU UK is sold out.
Yeah, okay. Well, we were waiting to hear that. And look, remember the old days, Mike, like you mentioned, when the students did wait out there and Dale Brown at times would bring them pizza and stuff. Look, man, one of the toughest tickets I ever remember was LSU Duke with Christian Laettner and Shaq. That was overrated, and of course there were a couple other words that the students threw towards Christian Laettner.
Juwan Hearns, how old is Matt House? Did you have that on his bio? I missed that part.
I don't know if they listed that on his age, but I'm going to predict.
I think he's late 40s.
But
don't hold me to that.
Let's say 40-something, but I'll look in and see. Of course, we could always Google his birthday, but he's
old enough.
Yeah. Let's see. Began his coaching career at Michigan State, 01-02 as a grad assistant. By the way, his wife is named Jessie. They have 4 children, Avery, Jackson, Jacob, and Trent. And he is from Harrison, Michigan, and a 2000 graduate of Michigan State. So
he's actually a little young.
That's 40-something. 21, yeah, he's probably 42.
Yeah, early 40s.
Yeah, early 40s.
Let's see. I'm scrolling up, guys. Let me get down to some of the. I think I missed a few. Another one from Juan Hearns. You think Kelly is hiring the Cincy offensive coordinator after Friday? Everybody's just assuming Cincy's going to get beat by Alabama. I hope that doesn't happen. But I'm assuming it's Den Brock. And of course, there's still a little bit of buzz out there that maybe it's Todd Monken.
I hand this ball off to you. You've done the work. You've made the
No,
phone
I haven't done the
calls.
work on that. I'm going to be honest with you.
So, look, I'll just say this. Brian Kelly has told recruits that it's going to be his offense. And so he is an offensive guy, and similar on offense to Saban is on defense. They will actually hire a coordinator position, but you're going to do what he wants to do. And this is one of the things that I saw with Nick Saban, and this is one of the things that I think we're all going to see in front of our eyes starting next September, is how quickly will he realize how aggressive he's got to be on offense. Joe Burrow, in the postgame yesterday, after they put it all over the Ravens, called out his coach, Zach Taylor, in an indirect way by saying when we were getting up 2 and 3 touchdowns earlier in the year, they'd run the ball for 3 plays and all of a sudden get conservative and lose some of these games late. Joe said, no, you've got to keep the pedal to the metal, and I'm a firm believer now. You get up 2 touchdowns, Don't sit there and run it up the gut. Play action, go for the bomb, make them defend you, put pressure on that defense. And oh, by the way, Dennis Allen, I sure as hell liked you coaching 2 weeks ago from Sean Payton, but somebody mentioned Book.
If the Bengals and the Saints are on at the same time Sunday, which game do you want to watch?
I will be watching the Bengals.
They're just fun to watch.
They are.
And what a game Burrow had. And so I'm constantly on YouTube, and they had a deal today. I think it was Marcus Spears and a couple others. Maybe Orlovsky was in there, and they were saying redraft. What would be your order of Burrow, Herbert, and Tua? And two of the three said Burrow, but who's the Asian girl? She said Herbert.
Yeah.
And which he's good. I mean,
Yeah.
no doubt. But Burrow is just, if he stays healthy, but he's still taking too many hits.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that they said
Yeah,
he's still been sacked 46 times. this
Yeah,
season.
he's gotten sacked a
I mean,
bunch.
I don't know what the answer to that is, but he cannot keep getting hit at that pace.
Well, I just want to make sure people understand that playing at Notre Dame and being a quarterback over there is certainly a national position. Everybody knows who you are because their alumni are all across the country. But I think Book was something like 30-5 at Notre Dame. And so all of you who are worried about Brian Kelly getting it done, now, no disrespect to the guy, okay, but he struggles to get to 6 foot. And he also struggled last night. And I know that's an unfortunate situation to get called in because of all the things that happened with the COVID and the injuries and all. But if that guy can go 30-5, just think what Brian Kelly's going to do with Miles Brennan, Garrett Nussmeier, and Walker Howard in year one. It makes you feel pretty good that he got that much out of Ian Book. No disrespect to that guy. I think what he did, Mike, he got the most out of Ian Book, and that's what Brian Kelly's reputation is. He's going to get every ounce of talent out of you.
Bart Smokey, house is 43. So we got Bart got us the answer. Jamie Brady, does Jones and Carter stay with the hire of house? I doubt it. But maybe, I don't know. Maybe there's a chance for one of them. I don't know that, to be honest with you.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to Blake Baker. I know, Mike, you talked to him a bunch and met him on a couple of occasions. And I thought that he handled his exit with class. Jacques did another great interview with him. And look, that had to be tough, man. Can you imagine? Your wife's all happy. You're coming back and you're coaching at LSU, and lo and behold, you only have 1 year tenure here. But it's all about relationships, and it's all about being able to adapt. You can't have one plan, Mike. Got to have plans B, C, D, E, and F. And that's going to be up to Matt House and Brian Kelly, who's on that defensive staff.
Esteban Estevez, Burrow and Schubert are way above Tua. I'm not hating. I like Tua, but Joe Burrow killing with one of the crappiest offensive line in the league. And so now, that was the big deal in the offseason last year was, taking offensive linemen, and then they went and got Chase. I hadn't even looked at how deep where they would draft, but do they go after offensive line big in the offseason and the draft, the Bengals? I'm amazed by the last LSU home game, A&M. How many people I saw walking around Tiger Stadium wearing Burrow Cincinnati Bengal jerseys.
And listen, folks.
And I've seen it around town.
Jimbo was so amazed at that throw that Max Johnson made. He said, "Come on down." Interesting, Mike. We thought he was going to Florida State. At least I did. And I thought they would face him in the first game of the year in the Superdome. But now it will be the last game of the year. And the only way I see Max starting over Haynes and Connor Wegman, who's coming in, is if there's COVID injuries or whatever like that. No disrespect to Max, but there's some things he's got to work on. And I think moving forward, you're going to see excellent LSU play at quarterback. And this is fun. By the way, you keep saying that Walker's going to be hitting 190 or 200. Of course, Garrett Nussmeier, we still have not heard any word on if in fact he is going to sit out, not to lose the red shirt, but people are assuming that. And then, of course, as we said earlier, Brennan probably has a good month of getting in shape, but he'll join the team in January.
Guys, do me a favor. If you enjoy the show, I look at our analytics each and every week. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell on our YouTube. We've been growing each and every week, but I still see where we've got a lot of people watching the show, but they're not subscribed. But I think a lot of people probably might not have a YouTube subscription, so they haven't enrolled to actually subscribe. But you should do that, because then you get a notification every time we go live, or we load up a new interview or a press conference from one of the LSU coaches. So we've got all that for you on our YouTube channel. We load stuff up almost every day. So you want to get subscribed to that. And, of course, we want you as a subscriber to TigerBait.com. Like I say every show, choose the annual package. When you do that, you save basically 3 months. You're basically getting 3 months free when you choose the annual over the monthly. And if you're a monthly, you probably, you ought to switch to annual. I want you guys to save money versus going the monthly package with us. So want to thank everybody for, you got anything else you're going to add?
Well, I just wanted to say, and when we go on a different night like tonight, you get the notification. So I know a lot of people will have on the bulletin board tomorrow, message boards tomorrow. Well, I didn't know you guys were going Tuesday night. When we have collisions, and Mike and I had this discussion, I learned the hard way. You just cannot go up against LSU Live, football, basketball, baseball.
No.
Regardless of if you think you're all that in bag of chips. It's just people are going to watch and put their interest in LSU. So next week we'll be back at the regular Wednesday, but this week we wanted to do it and follow up with Preston, who's done a great job of growing his show. And as always, appreciate all you guys. Hope you had a great holiday season. And once again, I think things are looking up with the Tigers, and this is going to be fun in the next week now with hoops.
No doubt. And like I said earlier, do yourself a favor. Go subscribe. I want you to look at that Michaela Williams from Parkway and Bossier, class of 23. It just so happens Kim Mulkey gets the LSU job.
Yeah.
And immediately within 2 years, of course, Michaela's got another year left. She's only a junior. But the number one player in the nation is in the state of Louisiana. She's already been on LSU's campus, and I think LSU is positioned very, very well for her. But we filmed her last night at the West Monroe tournament, a hell of a tournament up there, and got an interview, outstanding footage of her, a full video package that I believe is a must-see. She talks about Kim Mulkey, LSU. And then I got so that was after their game with Ponchatoula. They played Lafayette High earlier this evening. I've got another video package, another interview, and an interview with her basketball coach. So I'll roll that out in the morning. So that's real exciting. I'm excited about it because in all these years I've never done women's basketball recruiting. But when you've got the number one player in the country in the state of Louisiana and a new era with the Kim Mulkey, I think there's a lot of tie-ins and excitement about it. So
well, the great thing about it is Kim was over at Baylor and getting the best Louisiana women prospects every year. So this is a natural. And look, Mike actually went to film her at Walker, and as he was on the way over there, he got the call from Grant saying, "Look, no game because of COVID. They canceled it. So I know you've gone out of your way to film."
Yeah,
her.
I was all excited because nobody's paying attention. She's right here in my backyard. I can just sneak over there.
She is smooth, though,
and I'm
man.
about to exit off at Walker, and this was like 2 Fridays ago. They were going to play 5:30, play Walker at their tournament, and they got COVID, and that game got canceled. They went back home. So, but we got her, and we got her twice. So we've got it for you on TigerBait.com.
Really handles the ball well.
6 foot, drain threes from all over the
Oh,
place.
man, very, very, no problems with her release. Very confident shooter, but not one that just jacks it up. Excellent body control. She's going to be a great one.
No doubt. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Go to TigerBait, subscribe. We'll see you on the other side back here.
Next year.
Yeah, next year. And so what do we have? Tuesday night games. We'll do a post-game show after the football game. And then we'll be back here Wednesday night for a regular show.
All right.
So it's going to be a busy week. All right, guys, good night. Thank y'all.